Hey there, it's Drew with Franchoice again, and coming from you at a little bit of a different angle today, thanks to some feedback I got that looked like I was driving in the UK, and I don't know if it still does or not, but we're going to go with this. It was interesting, after I put out the video yesterday, I had a lot of direct messages from folks who were interested in learning a little bit more about franchising, and one of the themes that I noticed was that there was there's a lot of misconceptions out there about what franchising actually is in terms of a sector, and how many different businesses are actually out there that could be potential businesses for folks who are thinking about opening their own business. And what I mean by that is, the 9 times out of 10 people come to me and they say, hey, I really don't want to open up a fast food restaurant, and I think that's all franchising is, and that's not the case at all. Chick-Fil-A, McDonald's, Subway, Taco Bell, Five Guys, they've all done a very good job. They all have prominent places in the places that we live, and they're all franchised. But interestingly, fast food in general, hotel and lodging, the Hiltons, the Marriotts, and whatnot, and real estate make up the minority of the franchise establishments in the U.S. So there's a report that was put out by the International Franchise Association earlier this year that actually, if you add up the numbers, you'll see that 51% of all the franchise units out there in the U.S. are non-fast food, not lodging, and not real estate. And we're talking hundreds of thousands of franchise units. And in the U.S., there's over 3,000 different franchises available to as business opportunities for people to invest in and start. The general requirement in order for someone to make their business model available as a franchise is that they have to comply with the Federal Trade Commission guidelines that stipulate that they have to have a trademark, and number 2, they have to issue what's called a franchise disclosure document. That is something else for another post, but it is a very extensive document that the franchise companies create that provides a very clear level of transparency to prospective franchisees. So again, kind of a topic for another day to talk about franchise disclosure documents and FDDs. But back to the point of this video is to kind of give you a sense of kind of what are the opportunities out there in franchising. And I mean, I'm just driving by a shopping center right now, and I see at least 3 franchises out of 5 in a small strip center. 3 out of the 5 locations there are franchised, and none of them were food. So, as you're driving around in your local community, I guarantee you that there are a tremendous percentage of the businesses that are servicing the local community are franchised. And some of the sectors and some of the areas that you find are that have a lot of franchises and are in the health and wellness space. So like fitness, for example. And fitness is not as saturated as most people think. Another area that is a very viable area and has a lot of great franchise concepts in it is beauty. From value hair care all the way up to a company that is franchising professional manis and pedis that hasn't been franchised before, believe it or not. There are home services is a fantastic market. So any kind of service that a homeowner would purchase in terms of the maintenance of their home, or if they ever have a need, from lawn care to disaster restoration to pest control, and a lot of other sectors. Senior care, for instance, is another huge one. With the growing population of elderly that are turning over 65 every day, there is a large contingent of franchises in that space that are servicing that community because of the rising healthcare costs. In-home care and in-home assistance is becoming a greater and greater need, and so companies have figured out a great business model to help those people. And a lot of those are franchised. Now, when you think about franchising, there's also, when you look at it through the lens of the consumer, there's a lot of great businesses, or there's certain businesses that might turn you off and on. But when you really peel back the onion, what you find is that there are certain ownership models that can basically, they put the owner in different roles. And what I mean by that is some businesses are full-time owner-operator businesses. The owner starts as the chief cook and bottle washer and maybe builds out a small team of people, runs the business from home, not a lot of moving parts, great lifestyle business, comes with the freedom and flexibility, kind of buying yourself a job. But you can typically get into those and at an affordable price, anywhere between 50 to 100 grand, and there's not a lot of overhead. The next model is what's called an executive model, where you're more in the role of a CEO, and it's a business that you hire and you staff and you scale a business through people that work directly with the customers to close jobs and bring in revenue, a team of people who actually go out and do the work, depending on what the product and service might be. And those are typically businesses you find in kind of light industrial areas, not Main Street type businesses. They're typically are mobile in that they take the business to the customer. And then you kind of get into the retail segment, where you have light retail and then you have heavy retail. Light retail being between $200,000 to $300,000 all-in investment, all in including a lot of things that I'll talk about in a separate post. But then you kind of have heavy retail, which is more about 400 and above investment. But those light retail and heavy retail, what you find is those are typically manager-run business models. Some are owner-operator, but most are businesses, since the customers are coming to you, where you are actually managing a manager, and then they in turn are running the day-to-day aspects of the business, and you're behind the scenes building the team, delegating, empowering, leading that manager, funding it, obviously, making sure the numbers are performing at what they should in terms of marketing systems are driving customers into the location and they're getting converted at the benchmark rates. And so there's a lot that goes into all this stuff, but I just want to kind of give you a lay of the land. When people think about franchising, it's so natural to think about Chick-Fil-A and to think about McDonald's and Subway and a lot of the more prevalent businesses they might see advertised on TV and you see driving around. But the fact is that the majority of franchises are actually not fast food, lodging, or real estate, and there are different business models for different types of people, depending on what they actually want to be doing as the owner, and also what they can afford. But skill sets is one of the things that really can define which model might be best for somebody. In addition to what they actually want to be doing as an owner. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a different post, but had those questions, so I just wanted to share that with anybody who might actually be watching this. I'm just kidding. And thank you guys for watching it. And if you have any questions, you want me to talk about anything, by all means, leave a comment or shoot me a message, and I will make a video.